Thank you so much, Alicia, for the invite to talk here about all things productivity and time management. And I'm actually originally South African, but I've been in the UK for over 20 years with my husband, and we've got an 11-year-old daughter. And I was saying to Alicia and Chris earlier that we have a heat wave at the moment, and we don't have any AC because it never gets cold and it never gets hot. So we're sitting here with fans that we had to go and buy in panic. And also we've been told to self-isolate. So I'm in my daughter's bedroom, so if it's very messy behind me, that's why. I'm Marika from Cowork Crowd. I actually own another business, a kids toiletries business. So it's these mini products that you find in hotels, but it's for children. And I work with a US company to distribute it all over the world. But it's quite a hands-off business because they do all the manufacturing and all the sales. And so I started another business, which is a co-working and accountability business with a friend of mine. And that's why I'm here to chat to you, to show you what we've learned as we've been helping entrepreneurs to be most productive and make the best use of their time. Most people that is in our membership are moms, so they are trying to, in holiday times and vacation times, to obviously juggle it all, and even during the term, they just have a few hours a day. So I'm going to start with just to say there is unfortunately not a gold or a silver bullet for when it comes to productivity and time management. We all have different brains. I'm sure you've seen recently there's a lot of adults being diagnosed with ADHD, so and all sorts of neurodiverse people. So what works for one of us does not work for everyone. Also, we have different personalities. I don't know if you know the Gretchen-Rubin quiz, where you have different personality styles, and so I'm a rebel in that quiz. And if anyone tells me to use a certain method or app, I just don't want to do it. So that's why, again, what will work for me won't work for someone who's an obliger, for example. And then we all have different commitments and circumstances. And I'm sure I don't have to explain it to you that some of us may have lots of hours in the day, others have minutes, more than one business, someone does it as a side hustle or whatever it is. And then lifestyles, where you work from, how you interact through the day. It's just, there's just not going to be anything that works for all of us. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk to you about 4 different methods, and then we're going to have a little exercise as well. But first, the one thing that we can all use, or we all should use, doesn't matter what your personality or lifestyle, whatever, is a capture list. And I know some of us are really good with this, but this was a real game changer for me. And it's something I learned ages ago from Tony Robbins, actually, who he was all about the moment something enters your brain, you just have to get it out of it again. And I love pen and paper, but obviously I don't always have pen and paper with me. So I sometimes fool myself and think, oh, I'll just write it down on here. But it doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work. So I had to just use on my phone a note, the notes app, and I just dump anything on there. And I've never really thought about it. And I recently heard someone talk about how the reason we do that, it's not that we're worried that we're going to forget it. We actually want to forget it because we want to use our brains for kind of the most creative work, the best work. We don't want our brain power to go on to use our brain power for remembering odd things. And so even, and again, this is something I've had to learn the hard way. This is not just for business ideas or things to do. This is for everything in your life. The moment it comes into your brain, you've got to get it out. Got to get it out. So I think this is something we all know, but this is, if you forgot about it, this is a good habit to get into again, and also think a little bit about how you do that. Do you also still think I'm going to use a pen and paper, but actually when you're in the supermarket, you just like, oh, I've got to remember this thing, and you don't have that pen and paper with you. So making it a habit of just dumping everything the moment it comes into your brain, dumping it onto something on your phone, on your computer. So the first method, we can talk about 4 methods. The first one is Monday Hour One. I'm not sure if anyone knows about it. It's a course that you can do. It's not my course, but one of my friends uses this, and she actually has ADHD, and she swears by it. It doesn't work for me, but I want to share it because, like I said, we all different things works for different people. So this means that Monday morning, whatever hour Monday starts for you, whether let's say it's a 9 a.m., that first hour you only spend on scheduling your week, and you look at your list of to-dos and you literally put into your calendar everything you need to do. You schedule that time in. So whether it's creating a nurture sequence, whether it is you schedule in lunch, you schedule in break time, scheduling pick up kids or take it to swimming, but your calendar is going to show you for the rest of the week literally everything you have to do. So like I said, shared with you my personality type, which is the rebel. I just thinking about this makes me very anxious, but my friend's been doing this for 3 years, and she says she feels completely lost if she hasn't scheduled everything by 10 o'clock on Monday morning. So I will share with Alicia the websites of these if you want to look further into it. The second one is the sticky note method. This isn't something I created, but it's something I use. Again, I will share with you the YouTube video of this. It's extremely simple. It is taking sticky notes, and every sticky note represents an hour. And then you would just write down an activity, which you look at your to-do list again, and you would write down activities. So let's say, again, create a newsletter is going to take you an hour. You would write create newsletter and have that on the sticky note. Sorry, I should have had examples with me. And then let's say you have an item which is going to take 30 minutes. You do half the sticky note. And then you just put the sticky notes on a wall, and you go to your wall and you take off a sticky note. So now I'm going to work on newsletter, and you put it next to you. And so this is I think the reason it really works for me, because I get up, go and take the sticky note, and then I do that thing, and I go and put this. Sometimes it's something I need to work on like every day for an hour, and I'll go and either throw it away or I'll put it on just on another door or another wall so that I can physically see what I've done. There's some people that really go into detail with this. So in the video that I'll share, you'll hear what they do. Some people they gamify it, so they pay themselves $1 for every sticky note that they complete. Some people collect all their sticky notes over weeks, so that they've got these big bags of sticky notes that give them the satisfaction of everything they've done. I don't need that. I just need to have the sticky notes and be able to really focus on that thing in front of me. So I don't get distracted. Oh, I've got to do that. I've got to do that. No, I just do this one thing in front of me. The rule of 3 is also something I heard on a podcast once, and it's extremely simple. It is looking at all your to-dos and choosing 3 items, and then only make a note of those 3 items, put it in front of you, and only work on those 3. And it's all about not being overwhelmed. And then once those 3s are finished, you can then take on another 3, but always only have 3 things to work on. And the last one is even more simpler. It's the one thing today. And this is something I've used for a long time, actually. It is, I have a little group of mastermind friends, and we would every day, before actually I started the co-working business, we would actually every day send to each other a note. Someone will just randomly send it saying, what is your one thing today? And it was, well, 2 things. Number one is you had to really think about that one thing. And our rule was you can't choose more than one. So even if you have 20 things to do, obviously we'll have, but really think, what is the one thing? And I think the little note at the bottom says, spend your energy on money making items. So what is like really the most important one thing that you want to have accomplished by the end of the day? So it's number one, it's the thinking about that. And then number 2 is then doing it. And also during the day, I find that if I remember, and because obviously we send it to each other in Facebook Messenger, if I see, I've told them I'm going to work on my email sequence, it's a good reminder for myself as I then get distracted and busy with other things. So this is also for not getting overwhelmed. This is a fantastic way of just focusing on this one thing. And the great thing about this, once you have completed this one thing, you have the momentum, you have the energy, you feel good about having accomplished something, and you can just, then you're ready to do your other things as well. There's two influences that has helped us in setting up our business and teaching others about time management. And the one is, I don't know if you can really see how big your screens are. The one is called Indestructible, and it's a book by Nir Eyal. And I've actually done his course on, I don't know if you know Mind Valley. He's got a course on Mind Valley, which is also called Indestructible. And then the other one is Atomic Habits, which I'm sure you all know about, by James Clear. And both of these books say that it's not really about time management, because we all have the same 24 hours. It's about managing our focus and our attention. And that, you know, we can have the fanciest apps and productivity methods and programs and do all the courses, but until we have moved distractions, we're not going to get anything done. So 4 practical tips from Indestructible, and I must say, if anyone is curious about this, I would actually just read the book or listen to the book. It's extremely practical. But the 4 things I wanted to share today is removing notifications. This was a big one for me. So it's actually the phone, what is pinging on your phone, because every time it pings, you're going to be distracted, and it takes, they say, an average of 20 minutes to get back to what you were doing. But also, it's for me, I had to change my Facebook notifications on what do I get notified on. And this is just a continuous exercise. Like if I get, why am I, this is a group that I'm in that I can't even remember I'm in, why am I getting notifications from it? So just really starting to think about what you want to be notified of. Then he suggests moving all your social media apps to the last screen of your phone and putting it into a folder so that it's really hard to get to. It's the one thing that distracts most of us, and it's because we're bored or we don't want to do what we have to do. But it just gives you that little bit of a hurdle, just that extra, it's going to take a little bit more time to get into it, or where is it again? And then it just stops you from doing it automatically. He also talks about the 10-minute rule. So if you want to scroll Facebook, his rule is, okay, I can do it in 10 minutes. So just putting that little, again, that hurdle up for yourself is not immediately, just wait 10 minutes. And the same for anything, just that 10-minute rule. And then, oh, sorry, I just see a spelling mistake there, but time blocks. Yeah, that is one of his, and actually James Clear's tips is that, and I'm sure you've heard it from everywhere, it's just putting a time block in. And I don't know if you know Donald Miller from Story Brand. He said that's his one tip of all tips. He says, if you can have 1 hour a day of, he calls it a power hour, you will move forward. It's the most valuable productivity tip, is 1 hour a day of no distractions. There's one thing that all these books have in common, and that they all end with, and it's accountability.